Well, Jackie, thank you for coming on the red carpet round table.
Oh, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Can you let the audience know about yourself?
I can. So my name's Jacqueline Geurts, and I work in film and television as an actor, a presenter, and a stunt performer.
hmm And what got you into this industry?
I was really interested in learning how to communicate to an audience when I was studying my marine biology degree. And so I started taking acting classes and I just really enjoyed it. And I decided to continue with that. But then from there, I decided I really wanted the world to know more about what we do and in science world. And I kind of figured that it would be great to be a female version of David Attenborough, but with boobs. Um, and so that's how I started getting into film and television. And then from there I started exploring stunts because I was quite action orientated,
hmm
always performed different types of sports, and I was getting quite heavily into martial arts. And I really enjoyed watching action scenes in shows like The Lord of the Rings and The Secret. I'm sure you probably have favorite movies that you enjoy, and action is probably a little bit of a part of that somewhere along the line.
Yes, yes, I totally agree. What's your why? Why are you doing this?
Why am I doing this? Because it's really fun and I enjoy it. And I think that everybody should be always following a path of what they love. But I also wanted to open a doorway and show the world that you can come from humble beginnings and do whatever it is that you want, but you can do it really largely on a world stage. And I kind of figure if I can do it, then anybody can do it.
Amen, right there. That's the truth. Yes,
Yeah.
that's
That's a
100.
big question, and I haven't thought about that why for a long time. So you really put me on the spot.
I know, I appreciate it. I didn't mean to, but I think everybody, I don't want to say I think, everybody wants to know what's their why. They're in there, and number one, I think I want to say is storytelling.
Yeah.
It's the storytelling, impact
Hmm.
people's lives, and
Uh-huh.
and tell the audience what's going on in the film, true story or not, and
Yeah.
that's the thing I love.
I 100% resonate with that, and that's definitely that for me as well. I always kind of figured that if I could play a character and somebody in the audience resonated with that and could also, I don't know, maybe it might help them express themselves or understand themselves a little bit more. I 100% agree with you. It's about the storytelling and getting people to resonate with it. Because I love a good story and you love a good story, I'm sure. And you love it when you sit in a movie and you just become immersed in it and you feel like it's speaking to you, right? Same with a song or anything like that.
Right. We want to, the goal is to change the audience.
Yes.
Hopefully a couple of people or so at home or in theater for sure. I want to dig into the stunts. What made you
Yeah.
get into stunts, and what was the most craziest stunt you've done?
So that's a really common question. So what made me get into stunts was I really liked the action scenes and I really liked fighting and I thought it just looked really fun. I just thought it looked really cool. Little did I know it's actually a lot of hard work. Um, and I guess one of the hardest stunts that I've done was the one that injured me. So
hmm
I guess the best way for me to explain it is if you could imagine a rectangular box that's all painted green, and that was to simulate the inside of a boat, a yacht, and that rectangular box was inserted inside of a circular device, kind of like a mouse wheel. And there were people on the outside that were rotating that mouse wheel by hand. And so my job was to pretend to be the actor and fall and tumble around this box as it's moving as if it's been capsized by a wave. And that was for the movie Adrift, and that was doubling Shailene Woodley. And in the rehearsals were going well. And then we just decided to make it what we thought was a little bit safer, and that was by putting a big squishy mat down one of the ends of the rectangle. And um, but like science, a rule of thumb is only change one thing at a time. And we kind of changed a couple of things, and there was a little gap
hmm
that didn't make it safe, but we kind of figured, well, I'd been landing in this particular place, so it should be fine. But I delayed my movement and I delayed my action, which meant that I fell full vertical 4 meters and my arm went into that little gap. And so as the box was rotating, I actually got my arm stuck, and then the body weight of the rotation caused me to break my arm in
Ugh.
kind of a weird place. So you probably can't see it, but I've got a nice scar
Oh
down
yeah,
my.
I do see it.
You can see it
Yeah.
slightly, and it's about that big. So I have a metal plate in there. But what also happened was I dislocated my wrist and
Ouch.
in a cast. So what it actually did was it fused all the muscles between my ulnar and radius, so I couldn't actually rotate my palm up and down. And so part of my journey as a stunt performer was to rehabilitate that and learn to rotate that and try and get that 95 rotation back. Which, and it's not about if you get hurt, it's about when you get hurt and how bad, really, in
Hmm.
our industry. So that's why
Crazy.
we
It's
do stunts.
dangerous.
Yeah, it's dangerous. It's really dangerous. From little, you're always going to get a knock or a bruise or a little bit of
Right. It's kind of
grazing.
reminds me of Tom Cruise doing his own stunt moves.
Yeah, exactly. He's pretty phenomenal, actually. But not everybody can do that. He's pretty
Right.
talented to do all the acting and and big extreme stunts as well. But he
Wow.
also has a production company looking after him and keeping him safe. But it only takes one little thing to go wrong, and it could either end a little bit bad or really bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. That's scary. I'm sorry that happened to you.
Oh, that's all right. I mean, it's just part of the journey, and I kind of figured the freaky thing about it was 2 weeks beforehand, there was a thought that crossed my mind, and it was like, how do you feel about breaking your leg? And I was like, no, no, I don't want to break my leg. Then it was like, well, what if you broke your arm? And I thought, no, an arm being broken isn't so bad. And as I was driving to work, my car overheated, and my car never overheats. I look after my car really well. And probably about a kilometer from the studio where we were rehearsing, it overheated and it stopped. So my car knew what was going on. It didn't even want me to get there and do the rehearsal. But
Their
isn't
car
that
is
fun?
watching out for you.
Yeah. But I think, there was a moment 2 weeks before that where it was kind of like testing the water, going, if you hurt
Hmm.
yourself, what are you okay with? So I think it's really important to be careful of your mindset and your ideas. And, if you have an idea that comes to you and you're like, no, no, I don't want that, and say no to it and push it
Hmm.
away and
How
say
long
yes
does
to
it
the
take?
things that you, what's that?
Sorry, how long does it take for a usual, I say usual, or any normal person who does stunt to practice all the moves?
Well, it depends on the person and it depends on the moves. I mean, in an ideal world, a stunt coordinator will hire somebody that has a good foundation in the applicable skill, if not an expert level of the skill, depending on the availability of the person. And also, you have to match a actor, right? So you might not always be able to get the most skilled person in that skill because you have to match the actor and their height and their size and their look. And so in an ideal world, it depends on the stunt. So if it's a really simple stunt, they should be able to walk in and be able to do it straight away without really a rehearsal. But if it's a big complicated fight scene, then hopefully you've been given a bit of rehearsal to go through it. And we do what we call pre-vis. So it's a
Hmm.
pre-visualization concept now. It's quite big in the film world where if it's a fight, we'll all come together and we'll create that fight. We'll film it and showcase it and show it from our angle and what we think would look good. And then we show that to the director. And that could be on any sort of scale, um, shot on a really good camera or even an iPhone, and then edited together. And then the director can say, oh, yeah, I really like this preconception. This is what I want. Or they might come back and say, cut out those beats. Let's keep those beats. We need to add this here, and then we can know how to reorganize it from there. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's a lot of work.
There is a lot of work involved, and it also depends on the budget of the film and how much prep phase that you have. Sometimes I get called up and it's like, hey, Jackie, are you available tomorrow? And it's like, oh, yeah, okay. And you have to come in very quickly and just chuck on a wig and chuck on some clothes, and then all of a sudden you're flipping on the ground. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Stunt moves are so fun. It's fun but kind of dangerous at the same time.
Oh, yeah, totally. And that's why you want to make sure that when you're not working, part of your job is to be training all the time and making sure that your body is fit for purpose, and that if you say yes to something, that you're really good at it and that
Hmm.
you're prepared, because it's not, hey, can you flip? It's, hey, can you flip in a pair of jeans with big heavy boots on, with a helmet on, carrying a bag on concrete between two cars with people running around you know what I mean? It's how complicated could they make it, really?
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's wow, I can't believe all the crazy stuff the stunt does, and
Yeah.
it's you'd never imagine they get hurt, but they do.
Yeah, yeah. Well, in an ideal world, we try and make it as safe as we can, and we have a lot of precautions around that. Whether we're wearing pads or we're putting down mats or we're doing rehearsals beforehand. So we're trying to minimize or mitigate a lot of those safety occur. Those safety problems that could
Hmm.
occur. Yeah. What about you? What's one of your favorite films that you've seen?
I've seen a lot.
Yeah,
Well, of course, Mission Impossible. I saw that,
yeah.
and
And what do you
then
think?
what was the other movie I've seen? I can't. I saw. Oh, of course, I've seen Jurassic Park. Well, not Jurassic Park, Jurassic World.
Yeah.
Um, my mind went blank. There was another one I saw, but I can't think of it. How about you? Well, I'm thinking. I'm sorry.
Well, I saw Mission Impossible recently, and I'm not usually, I hate to say it, I'm not really a Tom Cruise fan. And I don't really often watch Mission Impossible films. I probably have only can recall a couple of them. But I was really impressed and I thought it was amazing. And I can see why people really love them and why they really love him. And what he does is incredible.
I know it's crazy. I
Yeah.
couldn't believe it. I
Uh,
think I've seen all of them. I think. Don't
yeah.
quote me, but it was
Yeah.
amazing.
And which one's your favorite? Was that your favorite? Did you
I don't
enjoy?
know which one's my favorite. I think this one was okay.
Yeah.
Maybe the last one I think he did was my favorite.
Yeah.
But it to me just when I was watching it, I think it's what I was gonna say is memorizing how he looked so young when he first started it.
Yeah.
And it's like to me it's like he was really passionate about it. Like he kept going and you can tell the age difference and the
Hmm.
hairstyle and everything. I think that's why I give him credit because I think that's how the fan grew into it. I remember I mean not the old, but when he first started it, he looked so young.
Yeah, it was quite
And then
cool. Hey, spoiler alert, anybody listening, but it was quite cool that there were some little flashbacks, right?
yes. Yeah, it was amazing to me.
Yeah.
That's I think that's why to me I liked it. Unfortunately it's this last one we think, but it was really good. I was very
Good things
impressed.
come to an end.
It was really impressive.
Yeah.
I think to me that got me was the airplane moves when he was
I
on the
know.
airplane.
Yeah.
It was a crazy stunt move.
And to him, to his you know, he's amazing. Like that those stunts are really hard. And I think in some of the shots he even holds the camera himself and he's while he's flying the plane and then trying to act and do all that stuff at the same time. Like that's crazy.
It is.
I mean, it's hard enough just to act sometimes or just do the stunt, let alone having to be the camera guy and the lighting guy and the gaffer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's crazy.
Mm.
It's mind blowing the stuff he does. It's crazy.
Yeah.
What is your dream genre role?
Dream genre. Well, Spartacus is coming out, The House of Asher, so I got to work on that. I auditioned for a gladiatrix role, but they had pushed that to only be two gladiatrixes in this season coming up, and so I didn't land one of those roles. But that would always be really fun. I helped choreograph a lot of the fights
Hmm.
um, and work with the actors and train the actors and stunt performers for that stuff. But it would be really fun to sort of play one of those roles, right? Um, you know what? I just love performing in general. Quite recently, I helped out on a new Brad Pitt film, which I can't talk too much about, but there's
Yes, I was going to
a
ask you about
dog.
that, but I totally understand. That's why I didn't ask you that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a man and a dog, and there's some stuff that happens in there where I ended up having to double the dog. And I don't mind. Like, I love being different characters. I got to work on Ghost in the Shell, playing a geisha, a robotic geisha. I worked on Ash versus Evil Dead, playing a crazy patient, so I got to do acting as well. I worked on uh, a whole bunch of different films that range from a lot of sword and sandals. I play a rescue, like helicopter rescue
Mm-hmm,
person
mm-hmm.
in deep water, and hopefully that will come out sometime. And so that I get to do my own stunts and that, and lots of water stunts. So I don't know. I really just like doing anything. It'll be really fun to do something on horses.
Horses.
Yeah,
That'll be
like
fun.
so yeah, that'll be really cool. Maybe something that involves a little bit more wire work. Quite recently, last year, I worked on a film called Eenie Meenie, which is about to come out on Hulu in August. Actually, I think it's August the 7th or August the 1st. And that is about cars. So that's like a car chase. It's a female version of Baby Driver, essentially. So we got to do it.
I was actually about to ask you about that, but you beat me.
I,
So
I beat you to it. Oh, there you go.
yes, I was about to ask you because I knew that was my next question, to be honest. So you said that's coming out in Hulu. When is it
I think
coming
it's
out
Hulu.
again?
Yeah, I think it's around August the 1st, between August the 1st and the 7th on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's called Eenie Meenie and it stars Samara Weaving and Carl Glusman. Carl Glusman is somebody that you might recognize from The Bike Riders that came out recently with Tom
Yes.
Hanks. And Samara Weaving initially was on Home and Away, but she's the lead actress in the Ready or Not movies. So I double her. So I've been doubling her for the last 10 years. The first job I doubled her was on Ash versus Evil Dead and Snake Eyes and a couple other shows. And then obviously Eenie Meenie. So yeah, that's got some good car chases in it. It's going to be entertaining.
I love car chasing movie. They're amazing. Um, what is your advice for anyone who wants to get into the entertainment industry?
In general or into stunts?
Both. Because I know, I mean, I'm sorry, I forgot about that, but yes, stunts in general. So, yes.
I think because it's so broad, I think it would be good to have an idea of where you would like to start. So, if you want to get into acting, take some acting lessons, find out who in your area has a great reputation and just start it and try it. I mean, even if you did think that you're probably going to be more applied to stunts, you need acting anyway. A lot of the times you're silent actors and you have to mimic and copy and be very similar to your actor as well. And I think for me, knowing how to act helps me train the actors so that I can understand their intention and help them apply that to any of their fight beats or their action. Uh, if you were wanting to get into stunt work, then I would identify what skills that you could bring to the table. Anything physical is applicable to stunts. So some people might be a little bit more action orientated into, say, wakeboarding or snowboarding or skiing or high diving or all of that is relevant and can be manipulated. And then I would go and find a gym that is in your area. Stunts is really popping up now. It's a hot topic after the Fall Guy, and it's now being added at the Oscars. So I think more and more people are going to start getting into it. So there's a lot of gyms that are popping up now, a lot of trainings in different regions. In New Zealand, there's a couple of amazing teachers there. I know that there's tons all through the
Mm-hmm.
UK and
Mm-hmm.
through America, so it's not hard to find online and to find something in the region. And so from there, I would start training and I would start identifying maybe which area you'd probably want to go into. It's good to be a generalist and be able to do a lot of things because then you could get more work. But the reality is, you do need to know how to fall. You need to know how to sell reactions. You need to know how to do some of the basics. So find somewhere that does fighting for film so you can just learn to roll and sell hits and take reactions and then understand it a little bit more. If fighting's not really your jam, then maybe you might want to get into water and water safety, or if that's not your thing and you're scared of water, then maybe you might be more inclined to go into high falls or something. But I think my biggest advice for anybody wanting to get into the industry is always do what you love. Don't
Mm-hmm.
make yourself do something that maybe you're not that interested in and you
Right.
don't really find it enjoyable because you're never going to be as successful. And there's
Mm-hmm.
plenty of
Mm-hmm.
competition out there of people that really are thriving off it, you know. So, um, and there's so many skills that you can apply yourself to that and you're never going to be able to do them all. I mean, that's the reality. Just because they take so many years to specialize in, and it takes years and years just to master one martial art, let alone 10, you know, and all the different weapons and then on top of that, horses, and then on top of that, cars, and then on top of that, you know, high falls. So does that sort of answer your question?
Yeah, you're right. And practice, know if you want to, you want to make sure that's really what you want to do, and
Yeah.
acting and
Yeah.
stunts and
I
all
always
that.
say to new performers, it's never really about the stunts. It is about the stunts, absolutely. You have to be good at the stunts, but it's really to do with your mental attitude as well. How are you going to handle when you come up against competition? There's plenty of people out
Hmm.
there that are hungry for the jobs, and there might not be that many. And if you're of a unique shape, you know, you're particularly tall or you're you know, built differently from the average female actor, then how are you going to handle when you don't get all the phone calls,
Right,
even though maybe
right.
you're the best? You know, because it doesn't always come down to you being the best performer and you being the best at that particular skill. It comes down to a number of different things. You know, do you fit the actor? Are you the right ethnicity? Are you in the region? Do you have
Hmm.
a visa?
Hmm.
Are you allowed to work in that area? Do you even know the coordinator? Do they even know of you? You know, and so it can be hard to get in initially. And how are you going to be if maybe you get a job right off the bat and you
Right.
think this is great, and then all of a sudden you don't have any work for 7 months because that's the reality right now. You know, the
Hmm.
last 7 years have been really hard in our industry with COVID, with the strikes, and currently a silent recession. So you got to be mentally strong and prepared for that, you know.
Right. And that's true. It's what you're saying is 100% true because being in this industry is tough.
Hmm.
I mean, being an actor, actress, director, etc., and involves everybody, and it's a thick skin, to be
Yeah.
honest. It really is. And I think that everybody don't realize that until they're in it. And it really is because, auditions, like you said, and you need to make sure you're right for the role and make sure you
There's a
can
lot of
listen
no's. Yeah.
and make sure you do the stunts correctly because you
Yeah.
don't want yourself get injured.
Well, you don't want to get injured, but also I don't go into a job to do it for me. I go
Hmm.
into the job for my actor to make them look really good, but I also go in to make the coordinator look really good. Because if they all look really good, then I get hired again and my reputation stays intact. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, hundred
So,
percent.
yeah. Obviously I want to do a good job because everyone's ego's there, you know, and it is based off your reputation. But I generally go in knowing that I'm serving someone and something bigger than myself. And I think other people need to understand that as well. If you don't necessarily get called back or you don't, you know, get the doubling job or the performing role, it's because of a lot of things that happen behind the scenes that
Hmm.
you don't necessarily know about, you know?
Right, right.
It's not personal. It's not personal unless it's personal. But a lot of the time, sometimes people make it personal when it wasn't actually personal, you know?
Right. That's 100% true. Gotta
Yeah.
do, you gotta love what you're doing. That's number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And I
totally
also
agree with
think
you.
it's good if people have something else, not necessarily as a distraction, but also um, something else that they love because it's great to have a passion and it's great to have an
Hmm.
obsession, but I
Hmm.
think to a certain point because what if that goes away? What if you don't have that? What if you are injured for two
Right.
years and you're struggling to build that back? You know, how are you going to cope financially? How are you going to cope mentally, seeing everybody else still working and performing? How are you going to cope if after you come back into the game, are you going to be able to bounce back and do you trust your body the way that you did before? Um, and are there even going to be roles for you? So I know a lot of people in the industry that have stepped out of the industry purely because of that. But you've got to be in it for the long game. So I think it's good to have other things that maybe you find interesting, or I never want to say a fallback. You never want to say, oh, well, I want a plan B. It's not a plan B. It's just other things that, you don't want to be too obsessed and only talk about that one thing. You've got to have other chapters in your book, right?
Right. Totally agree with you, 100%. It's not easy peasy.
Mm-mm.
No. I think I just want anybody to hear this that who are listening, or watching this that before you decide that you really want to get into this, it's like think about it. It's really think about it. If you really want to do it, it's just make sure you know that this is really want to do, like you said, because there's no plan B. It's you're in it, and
Yeah.
you're in it all the road, long road ahead. And
Yeah.
don't give up. It's your courage, keep the faith, keep the courage, keep going. But again, make sure you have a plan for it, like you said.
Yeah, well, I think one of the new guys, they start to learn, oh, okay, there's not work flowing all the time, or oh, okay, maybe I need to put some of my money away. Or one of the things I do love about some of the younger performers coming in, especially, when you're really early in your 20s and you're
Hmm.
quite naive, and I don't know, it's kind of like a horse with blinders on, right? You just don't see any of the negativity. You always just see the good things and you're just like blindly optimistic about everything. I don't think it's wrong to talk to people and sort of understand what some of those realities are, but also, keep that beautiful blind optimism because I do think that wonderful energy does create beautiful things in the future. But yeah, a lot of the work does come down to your attitude and how you are. Like, do people want to go have a beer or a coffee with you at the end of the day? Do they want to put you on
Right.
a team for 7 months? And are you really annoying? Like, people don't want to have you around? Are you a dick and always want to be the center of attention and steal the work of other people? Like, people are going to want you around. Or can you stay humble and quiet um, and acknowledge what the senior people who
Hmm.
have been in the industry for a really long time are telling
Right.
you. Take
You
that
got to
on
be
board.
humble. You got to be humble
Yeah,
being
yeah.
in the entertainment industry.
And it doesn't mean not be confident and, be confident in your abilities, but you don't have to tell everybody how amazing you are and show off.
Right.
It's good to come in and surprise people sometimes, you know? And so they go, oh, wow, I didn't expect that person could do that. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, you want to surprise everybody. You want to
Yeah,
let them know you can do it. Be
yeah.
confident.
Yeah, under promise, over deliver is a common phrase that gets thrown
Right.
around. And
Short.
be adaptable. That's probably one of the biggest words in stunts is be adaptable. How can you change and evolve and take even your skills? How can you take your skill set? You might be a really great gymnast, but we don't want everything to be perfect. We want you to fall ugly. So how can you
Hmm.
take that skill set of being really controlled and safe, and how can you make it messy and ugly, but still keep your body
Right.
safe?
That's true. 100% you're saying is correct. 100%. And be confident and, just surprise the room. Surprise everybody in the room.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Um, what do you do for fun when you're not doing stunts, when you're not acting? What does Miss Jackie do for fun?
Well, there is a little bit of crossover. In fact, there's a lot of crossover. So I never took martial arts for stunts. I took it because I'm obsessed with martial arts. I love it. I do everything. So whether it's from Taekwondo to Wing Chun to Wushu to um, Kali and FMA and SEAL Art. I love it all. And so I apply myself to a lot of training. At the moment, I horse ride. So whether I use horse riding for film and television, regardless, I just love riding horses and I would hope to have a farm and have my own horse. And I really love driving. So I'm quite into drifting at the moment and just really understanding the art of the throttle and how you can put yourself in an unsafe situation, but you're actually in control and safe with it. Uh,
Wow.
and hey, look, loud cars, lots of smoke. It's pretty cool. I don't care
And
who.
do you have any siblings?
I do. I have two brothers, and they do very different things from me. One is a banker, and the other one is a helicopter pilot slash he owns his own digger company.
Wow, so you're the only one out of all the siblings in the entertainment industry.
Yeah. Yeah.
They must think they're proud of you, but they must think you're crazy.
They think I'm crazy, and my parents, when I moved from marine biology into film and television, my parents were constantly on the phone going, "Are you sure you don't want to go back out on the boat? Are you sure you don't want to just go back to watching whales and dolphins?" And I'm like, "No, I think I'll give this a go. I think it's a young person thing. I can go back to that when I'm a little bit older and keep my tabs in there." That is one thing that I still really, really love and I'm still really passionate about, is whales and dolphins and marine conservation and marine life. So I do love going to warmer waters and swimming with turtles and swimming with whales and
Right.
like that, and just filming. I love filming, getting a GoPro and just being underwater. That's probably my happiest place.
Wow. I love warm water. I don't like winter. I hate winter. When it gets cold, it's freezing, and I wouldn't, New York in the summer and the spring's not bad, right? But
Yeah.
when it like gets winter, it's like, wow, it's cold. So, I mean, like California is warm, but I know California water is not like so warm.
Well, one thing that I found really interesting, because you forget about California being a desert, right? And so in summer it's hot, but in winter it's freezing your tits off. Like that cold goes through your jacket.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hawaii weather is warm. Hawaii's
Oh
hard.
yeah. I'm all about Hawaii. I'm all about, that water surprising you so you can actually stay in it longer than 2 hours.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, Jackie, where can everybody find you?
Well, everyone could find me on Instagram. That would be under my full name, which is Jacqueline Geurts. They can also find a lot of my profiles online, a lot of my reels and like fighting reels and driving reels and things like that on YouTube. So either you could Google Jacqueline Geurts or Google Jacky Geurts, Jacky Geurts, Geurts, and then I should pop up. There'll be numerous profiles. I was telling Kim the other day, I have something like 28 profiles that I have to keep updating all the time. So,
That's a lot.
that's a lot, right?
Wow. How can you manage that?
Oh, I'm just really A-type savvy, where I just, admin, I love a good to-do
Right.
list, and crossing that stuff off. So
Right. And what was the most fun about driving those cars?
there were a lot of different types of cars, and one thing, whether it's with cars or whether it's with acting or performing in general, one thing I love to do is I love following direction. I love people giving me that challenge and going, okay, so we need you to come in doing this, we need you to hit this mark, then you need to get out, and then you need to do this, and da 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 da. I love that challenge of hitting all those beats and going, yeah, I smashed that. I smashed that out of the park. You know what I mean? But yeah, driving those cars are fun because there were so many different types of just old school American cars. Driving a
Hmm.
Dodge, an electric Dodge, a Lincoln. Yeah, I
Wow.
love the challenge of that too. I love getting in a different car because they're all so different. And you'll know, even
Hmm.
just the throttle on one car is different. Working at just even going, where are the lights? Where's that light button? How do I make the window? Oh, that's the window wiper.
Right. 100%. Um, is there any movies that you've seen that you recommend for the audience to see?
I've seen some great movies. I don't know if people have seen Civil War. I really like Civil War. I know it's probably controversial. Some people probably are like, no, I didn't really like that. If you haven't watched any New Zealand films, you have to go watch Taika Waititi's Boy. Uh, that was his breakout role.
Hmm.
Um,
And
you would have to go watch Whale Rider. There's
okay.
Once Were Warriors, which is a hard-hitting film, but that's how Temuera Morrison became famous. And I think it's a dark movie,
Hmm.
but I think it's very real, and it's raw.
Right.
Um,
And you're from New Zealand, correct?
I'm from New Zealand, yes.
Wow. Okay. So do you miss home? That's a long ways.
It's only 12 hours actually, and you get used to it. A long way would be flying from New Zealand to the UK. Now that's 30 hours. That sucks.
Wow.
Yeah, you get pretty sore body sitting down for long periods of time, unless someone's flying you business class. Um, I do miss home because that's where my family is, and it's always easier in your own country. Do you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
because you know what food, where the food's coming from, you know where your family are, you generally have maybe somebody that can take you in and look after you if you really needed. You know how the banks work, you know how the insurance works, you know what I mean? And New Zealand's a really easy country to live in. People
Right.
don't realize if you live there, how tricky it is to live in other
Right.
countries.
And it's true that kiwi is from New Zealand?
Yes. Do you know what it is? What is a kiwi? Do you know what it is?
Yeah, I didn't know that. Those who I don't remember who told me, but no, I researched it. I'm sorry, I
What is
researched
it?
it.
Do you know what is it?
I didn't know, I really didn't know kiwi was from New Zealand.
Okay, well, we call ourselves Kiwis, but it's based on a bird. It's a endemic species of bird, a flightless bird that has a very long beak and it
Okay.
comes out at nighttime and it probes for worms and things in the dark, so it's nocturnal. But it lays huge eggs, like about this big.
Wow.
So what would that be? Like half a ruler? I don't know. Good 30
That's
odd
so huge.
centimeters. Yeah. Which is sort of takes up the rest of their body. So
Hmm.
I'm not sure if they've got any organs or anything because they're just busy making eggs.
Right. Now,
So we
and
name ourselves after a bird.
right. And please forgive me, I'm saying this wrong. Your country does the dance.
Huh?
I can't say it right. I'm so sorry.
That's all
Uh,
right.
the dance. What's the history behind that? I'm asking you this because a lot of people, when you watch sports or you watch
Yeah.
YouTube, you have that big traditional dance. The family welcomes you home at the airport or sends you off like that. They do at the
Yeah.
sports events. What's the history behind that?
So in New Zealand, we have an indigenous culture called the Māori that came to New Zealand before the Europeans. And so we're really proud of that culture that is embedded in New Zealand. Um, there's we even have in Parliament a Māori party, and they have a language which is te reo. And so to talk would be te kōrero. And so the Māori culture has the haka, which is
Hmm.
a traditional, what I believe is it's when they're summoning the spirits and they're talking to the higher powers, to their spirits and their ancestors. And so they're bringing them in and invoking them, and then they're utilizing that to it's a war dance. So when they do it in rugby, they're doing it to intimidate. Yeah, it's very powerful.
It
That's why
is. I've
it's
seen
powerful
it.
because yeah, because they're
I've
bringing
seen it on
down
TV and YouTube.
yeah their ancestors. Yeah, it's an incredible culture, and like all indigenous cultures, they really know how to use the land and they know how to use the ocean and they know how to
Right.
use their resources and yeah, really beautiful. So I encourage anybody from, other parts of the world to do their own investigation and find out more about it.
Yeah. Can you do it?
No, no.
I just had to ask. I just had to ask. It is, I love it. It's a powerful dance. I enjoy watching it. So,
Yeah, it's
um,
very strong in the tradition of the Maori.
yes, I
Hmm.
love it. I love New Zealand.
So we actually have a bunch of celebrities at the moment that really love coming to New Zealand, and Jason Momoa is one of them. And they came to New Zealand to film 3 shows, one of which was Chief of War, and that is about to come out soon as well. And I think that's also August the 1st. And that was filmed in Hawaii and in New Zealand. So that brought together, when I first came to the States, I actually lived in Hawaii first. So it brought together my friends and colleagues from Hawaii and my friends and colleagues from New Zealand, which was amazing. And Jason Momoa just loves New Zealand. I think he's bought a house there. He wants to film everything there. And of course, he loved the Māori culture. So being Hawaiian, that's Polynesian, that they're an extension of each other. And so it's really cool that he saw a lot of himself in New Zealanders, which was really great.
Wow, amazing. I definitely need to
New
visit
Hollywood, mate.
I definitely need to visit New Zealand.
Yes, you do. 12
100%.
hours, it's not far.
Yeah, when's a good time to go?
Well, New Zealand's very seasonal. So you're going to get your summer, your spring, your winter, and your autumn. They're very distinct, So winter's very cold. Could be some beautiful sunny days. Autumn's very wet. I like spring when the flowers out and it's really green, like luscious green, and it's not too hot, and maybe you might get a little sprinkling of showers, but then the lambs are born, I think you probably know New Zealand to be the land of the sheep, so there's more of those that are born. And if you get hay fever, probably maybe not the best time because there's a lot of pollen in the air. But spring would be around the September, October, November time, and then it starts going into summer. So we have a summer Christmas, right? So we have Santa rocking around in his what we call jandals, which are your flip-flops
Hmm.
and
I
shorts. Yeah.
definitely need to go visit New Zealand.
Yeah.
Thank you
So
for
around
sharing.
that time, yeah, bring around spring and summer, around just before Christmas would be really nice.
Well, I appreciate you sharing a little history about New Zealand. Thank
Yes, of
you.
course.
Um, and did you say you have Instagram, you have YouTube, is that correct?
I have Instagram and YouTube and a whole bunch of like Linktree and a whole bunch of profiles all over the interweb.
So many profiles. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
20, you said 20 something.
Yeah, something like 28 profiles for, between acting and stunts and
Wow.
everything else. Yeah.
Amazing. A
Yeah, but if
lot.
people go online, then they could probably find some reels like the stunts that I've done, highlights of the stunts that I've done,
Hmm.
whether it's water stuff or cars or wire work or fighting.
Wow. Well, I appreciate you coming on, Miss Jackie.
Oh, no, thank you so much for having me. That was
Yeah,
really,
we'll definitely stay in touch. I would love to have you back on again in the future.
oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yes. I love interviewing people in the entertainment industry, from stunt workers, actors, and let myself and let the audience know why people are, why you and other actors are doing this, and you said it right there from the beginning when or in the middle, it's storytelling.
Hmm.
That's the key. We want to storytell. We want to tell people stories, and we want to change people, views, or at least change one person or two people in the movie theater or in a t or in their own living room when they're watching. You want to have them leave the theater, with their hair sticking up, giving chills, or and say, "Wow, this changed my mind."
Yeah.
That's what we're doing for
Hmm.
storytelling to impact the
Hmm.
world.
Hmm.
Because everybody has a story. Uh,
Everybody's got a story. I was just
yeah.
talking to somebody about that yesterday, and yeah, and some of the true stories are better than some of the fictional stories that we can make up. People are
Right.
incredible, and the things that they come up with and what they can do. Let's tell some of
100%.
those stories.
Yeah, I know. I can't. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. Storytelling is the key. So, thank you again. We'll stay in touch, and I look forward to having you back.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're very
Out
welcome. I
there
will
and
talk
amongst
to you
it.
soon.
Okay, great.
All right. Bye-bye.